Hey, this is Mr. Beckstrom, and I just wanted to go over a problem from section 1.1. The reason I want to go over this is because this is a good example of a problem that uses the graphing utility, and it's important that we know how to use this. It's a little bit tricky at first, so I just definitely want to go through kind of a tutorial for how to use that. So this problem here says graph the equation by hand by plotting points. Verify your results using a graphic calculator. So taking a look at the problem, y is equal to negative x squared plus 3. If we know anything about parabolas, we know that that's what this is. There's a negative in front of the x squared term, so we know that it's a downward opening parabola. And we also know that its vertex is going to be at 0, 3. But let's go ahead and just plot a few points here. So I'm going to go over to my whiteboard. So here's my equation. In order to plot a few points, I'm just going to do myself a kind of a quick table here with my x's and my y's. And looking at this equation here, I can see there's no limitations on what my x can be. It can be any real number, positive, negative, 0. The only time I have limitations is when I have usually radicals, or I have fractions, or I have something that's going to make this undefined in some sense, or an imaginary value. But in this case, there's no imaginary numbers or radicals or fractions, so pretty good. And so when we have our domain going from negative infinity to positive infinity, and we're doing a table, I usually like to start at negative 2, and then I go to negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. And this should give me a good idea what's going on here. So if I put negative 2 in for x, remember, order of operations, I do the exponent first, and then I apply the negative out front there, because the negative is multiplication, and exponents comes before multiplication. So if I put the negative 2 in there, that's negative 2 squared, which is positive 4. Positive 4 times a negative is negative 4, plus 13 is, and I don't think it should be 13. Let me go back, because I think I switched it up. Yeah, it's actually plus 3. So let me go ahead and copy this and see if I can get the correct one over there. There it is right there. Oops. Just a moment here. And let's go ahead and delete that one. All right. So if I put in a negative 2 for x, I'm going to get a positive. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Positive 4 times a negative is negative 4. Plus a positive 3 is negative 1. And the same is going to be true when I put a positive 2 in there. So I'm also going to get a positive 4, and then a negative 4, and then a negative 1. When I put a negative 1 in here, I get negative 1 squared, which is 1. And then we apply the negative, which is negative 1, plus 3 is positive 2. So that's going to be true for both my negative 1 and my positive 1. And finally, when I put in a 0 for x, I'm going to get a 3 for y. So these are the points here. And let me just double check those, make sure that looks right. And then we go back to our graphing. Oops. Well, we can go back. This is the calculator. So if we want to check this in the calculator, what I can do is I can go to y equals. Let me clear all this stuff out. This is from our previous class. And take this plot off. And we're going to get negative, and then x squared plus 3. And let's go ahead and zoom and do a standard. See what this looks like. And sure enough, I have a downward opening parabola with the vertex at 0, 3. And then I've also got a couple of more points. So let me show you how we can do this in our graphing utility here on the MyMathLab problem. So I can click here or here to open the graph. I'm going to click here. I'm going to choose the parabola. It doesn't matter, I chose the upward. I can also go downward. Now I'm going to choose, we need 3 points. I'm going to do my vertex first. So that's going to be at 0, 3. And up here I can see the value there, so it makes it a little bit easier. So go up to 0, 3. And then if I look back at my whiteboard, I also have these 5 points, although all I need is 2 of them. So I'm going to use, let's go with the -2, 1 and the positive, excuse me, -2, -1 and the +2, -1. So going back here, I have +2, -1 and -2, -1. Hit save, check that answer, and that's it. And this graphing utility lets us do parabolas. It lets us do straight lines. For a straight line, you just need 2 points. It lets us do left and right parabolas. Here, you just start with the vertex again. So lots of good utility there. All right, if y'all have any questions, let me know, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks.